Hi everyone, welcome back. In the previous part, we looked at studio items and the podcast player, basically how NotebookLM Tools helps me work with the outputs that NotebookLM creates from my sources. But once I have more notebooks, more sources, and more generated items, another problem starts to show up. How do I keep the whole workspace organized? Folders are useful inside one notebook because they help organize sources. But tags are different. Tags help me organize notebooks across the entire workspace. So in this part, I'll go through the tag system in NotebookLM Tools, how to create tags, assign them to notebooks, filter notebooks by tags, back them up, and also how those tags appear directly inside NotebookLM. On the notebook list, tags appear directly on each notebook card. So before I even open a notebook, I can already understand what category it belongs to. For example, this Marugoto notebook is related to Japanese study. This one is about AI. This one is about economic topics. And this one is related to NASA. Without tags, I would mostly rely on notebook titles. That works when I only have a few notebooks, but once the workspace grows, titles alone are not always enough. Tags give me another layer of organization so I can group notebooks by topic, project, class, workflow, or purpose. To manage all tags, I can open the Manage Tags page from the toolbar. This page shows every tag I've created inside NotebookLM Tools. Here, I can see the tag name, its color, how many notebooks are using it, and when it was created or updated. There's also an important reminder at the top. Tags, folders, prompts, and some settings are stored locally in the browser by the extension. So if I remove the extension or clear browser data, I could lose that organization data. That's why this page also includes import and export options for backups, which I'll show in a moment. The Manage Tags page also has different view modes. I can use Grid View if I want a more visual overview of the tags, or switch to List View if I want something more compact. This is mostly personal preference, but it helps when the number of tags grows. For a few tags, Grid View is easy to scan. For a bigger tag system, List View can feel cleaner. Next, I can change how the tags are sorted. By default, this list is sorted by newest, so the most recently created tags appear first. But if I open the Sort menu, I also have a few other options. Name sorts the tags alphabetically, which is useful when I already know the tag I'm looking for. Most Used brings the tags with the most notebooks to the top, so I can quickly see which categories are being used the most. And Color groups the tags by their color, which can be helpful if I'm using colors as part of my organization system. For this demo, I'll quickly switch through a few sorting options, then leave it on Most Used. That way, the tags that matter most in this workspace stay near the top. Now, sorting is useful when I want to change the order of the whole list. But if I'm looking for one specific tag, search is usually faster. For example, I'll search for AI. Now the list narrows down to the AI tag, so I don't have to scan through every tag manually. This is useful when the workspace has many categories and I already know what I'm looking for. I can also search using other languages. For example, I'll search for Nihongo. And now I can quickly find the Japanese tag as well. So search works well for both English tags and non-English tags, which is helpful if I organize notebooks in multiple languages. After searching existing tags, I can also create a new one from here. I'll click the Create button. This opens the Create Tag modal. Here, I just need to enter the tag name and choose a color. For this example, I'll create a tag called Content because I might use it for notebooks related to content planning, video ideas, or tutorial workflows. For the color, I'll keep the default blue. Of course, I could choose a different color if I wanted this tag to stand out more, but blue works fine for this demo. Once everything looks good, I'll click Create. And now this new tag is added to my tag system, ready to be used on any notebook later. Once the tag is created, it appears here on the Manage Tags page. Each tag shows a few useful details. First, I can see the tag color on the left. This makes the tag easier to recognize visually later, especially when it appears on notebook cards. Then I can see the tag name. Under the name, NotebookLM Tools shows how many notebooks are currently using that tag. For example, the AI tag is already used by 3 notebooks. The Japanese tag is used by 2 notebooks. And this new content tag is currently used by 0 notebooks because I just created it. I can also see the date, which helps me know when the tag was created or last updated. So this page is not only for creating tags. It also gives me a quick overview of which tags are active, which ones are barely used, and which categories are becoming important in my workspace. That's why sorting by most used can be helpful here because the tags used most often stay near the top. One important thing to notice is this warning at the top. Tags, folders, prompts, and some settings are stored locally in the browser by the extension. So if I remove the extension, clear browser data, or move to another browser, I might lose this setup. That's why the import and export buttons are useful. If I click Export, NotebookLM Tools downloads a JSON backup file for my tags. Here I can see the backup file being saved, and the extension also shows a tags exported message. So now I have a copy of my tag setup that I can keep safely. And import is the opposite. When I click Import, it opens the file picker so I can choose a previous tag backup file. I'm not going to import anything right now, but this is where I would select the JSON backup if I ever needed to restore my tags. So for long-term use, especially if I've created a clean tag system, exporting a backup occasionally is a good habit. Now that the tag system is backed up, let's go back to the notebook list and actually use these tags. Because the Manage Tags page is where I create and organize tags. But the notebook list is where tags become useful in the daily workflow. Here I can assign tags directly to notebooks, then use those tags to filter and find related notebooks later. Here, I'll use the YouTube AI Video Ideas notebook as an example. On the notebook card, I can click Add Tag. This opens a small drop-down with all the tags I already have in my workspace. So if the tag already exists, I can just select it from here and apply it immediately. That makes tagging really quick once I already have a basic tag system set up. But I can also search for a tag directly from this drop-down. For example, I'll type YouTube. If the tag already exists, I can select it right away. But if it doesn't exist yet, NotebookLM Tools gives me the option to create it from here. So I don't always have to go back to the Manage Tags page first. I can create and assign a tag directly from the notebook card. In this case, I'll apply the YouTube tag to this notebook. Now, the YouTube AI Video Ideas notebook is marked as part of my YouTube workflow. And this is where tags become useful in daily use. This notebook is for YouTube content planning. This one is for Japanese study. These are AI-related notebooks. And this one is about economic topics. So instead of relying only on notebook titles, I can add my own organization layer across the whole workspace. Folders help inside one notebook, but tags help across all notebooks. So instead of thinking of a tag as just one label, I can use multiple tags to describe the same notebook from different angles. For example, this YouTube AI Video Ideas notebook is not only part of my Tube workflow, it's also related to AI content. So I can click the plus button next to the existing tag and add the AI tag as well. Now this notebook has both YouTube and AI, which makes it easier to find later from either category. Next, I'll do the same thing with the Marugoto notebook. It already has the Nihongo tag, because it's a Japanese learning notebook. But I also want to mark it as a study notebook. So I'll click the plus button, type study, and since that tag doesn't exist yet, I can create it right here. When creating a tag from this dropdown, I can also click through the color options until I find a color that fits. Then I'll create the tag, and now Marugoto has both Nihongo and study. I can keep using this same flow for other notebooks too. For example, if a notebook belongs to a larger workflow or project, I can add a projects tag. So the nice thing is that I don't always have to go back to the Manage Tags page. From the notebook list, I can add an existing tag, create a new tag, adjust its color, and apply it right away. At this point, the notebook list is already easier to understand. I can see which notebooks are about AI, which ones are for Japanese study, which ones are related to Tube, and which ones belong to larger projects. Now that the tags are assigned, the next step is using them to filter the workspace. I'll open the Filter by Tag dropdown. Here I can see all the tags in my workspace, and each tag also shows how many notebooks are using it. For example, I'll select AI first. Now the notebook list only shows notebooks that are related to AI. This is already useful because I don't have to search by title or manually scroll through every notebook. I can just filter by category. I can also select more than one tag. For example, I'll add the YouTube tag as well. Now the filter is showing notebooks that match the selected tags, so I can narrow the workspace down based on how I organize my projects. If I only want to focus on the Tube workflow, I can remove AI and keep only YouTube. Now the list is narrowed down to the Tube AI Video Ideas notebook. So this is a fast way to jump directly to a specific group of notebooks. There's also an untagged option. This is useful when I want to find notebooks that still need to be organized. So if I select untagged, I can quickly see which notebooks don't have any tags yet. That makes cleanup much easier, because I know exactly which notebooks still need to be categorized. And besides filtering by tag alone, I can also combine the tag filter with search. So let's say I go back to the AI tag filter. Now I'm only looking at AI-related notebooks. But if that tag still has multiple notebooks, I can narrow it down even more by searching inside the filtered results. For example, I'll search for video. Now the list is reduced to the notebook that matches both conditions. It has the AI tag, and its title matches video. So the tag filter gives me the category, and search helps me find the exact notebook inside that category. This is especially useful when one tag starts getting crowded. Instead of scrolling through every AI notebook, every study notebook, or every project notebook, I can filter first, then search inside that smaller group. And one more important detail. These tags are not only useful inside NotebookLM Tools, they also appear directly inside the NotebookLM interface itself. So let me quickly show how that looks. I'll click the NotebookLM button on this notebook. Here, at the top of the notebook, I can see the tags that were added earlier, like YouTube and AI. And I can also manage tags from here. For example, I'll click Add and add the content tag to this notebook as well. Now this notebook has YouTube, AI, and content. So the tags are not only stored inside the extension view, they also show up inside the actual NotebookLM notebook page, which makes the organization feel more connected. Now if I go back to the NotebookLM homepage, I can see the tag bar across the top. This includes tags like AI, content, economic, NASA, projects, study, technology, YouTube, and Japanese. The tags also appear on the notebook cards themselves. So even on the default NotebookLM homepage, I can quickly scan which notebooks belong to which categories. That means the tag system improves both sides of the workflow. NotebookLM Tools gives me stronger tag management, filtering, search, and backup. And NotebookLM itself shows those tags directly in the notebook interface. So that's the tag system inside NotebookLM Tools. Folders help organize sources inside one notebook, but tags help organize notebooks across the entire workspace. I can create tags, choose colors, sort and search them, back them up with export and import, assign them to notebooks, filter the notebook list by tag, and even see those tags directly inside NotebookLM. So once the number of notebooks starts growing, tags become one of the easiest ways to keep the whole workspace manageable. And in the next part, I'll move into some of the workflow and safety features that make NotebookLM Tools even more flexible. We'll look at custom prompts, language support, and backup restore. So I'll show how prompts can help reuse common instructions, how language settings affect the extension workflow, and how backup and restore can protect your setup if you ever move browsers, reinstall the extension, or want to keep a safe copy of your data. If there's any part of NotebookLM Tools you want me to cover more deeply, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.